coming back to the penguins and to the many new tools awaiting us in transition. We've got the penguin with the bomb, there is a cane we can pick up, but then we're forced into the walk. We come in here and one of our penguins, the one with the cane, is immediately locked into Crutches because of course this is just another level selection in level selection that we have to solve. I assume to solve the top level of Gentoo Rescue we're probably gonna have to go through all of those things first before we know and have enough to get through what is kind of the top first level. So Crutches is an actual level, and yes, we pick up the cane, and potentially as expected, when we have the cane, we just move slot by slot. We can walk and it's no longer a sliding puzzle. But here, if we picked up the cane, I assume that's not gonna do us any good, because yes, we can't stop on those tiles with the fragile floor, so we want to avoid the cane and slide right past into our exit. Once again, we've got those unmovable penguins blocking levels, and once again, we just don't have the tools to get them out of the way yet. So we're definitely going to be coming back into places once we gain the brain power to figure this one out. But yes, now we can just move a step to get into step. Here we've got 2 canes and a hammer. Now, I wonder, yes, if this is going to be an interaction between the hammer and the cane, where because he's got the cane and because he would normally be walking when he moves, the same happens for the hammer. So from here, if we move that gray penguin down, we can then move the red penguin down as well and just shove him all the way out. He's taken so much beating, and yes, the yellow can just walk on his own. And we move to stop. Now we've got the cane and we've got a teleporter. So obviously the thing we want to test here is if we walk with the cane onto the teleporter, do we... Yes, we get to teleport and be stopped on the other side. We don't fall through. But obviously, it's not the red penguin that needs to get there. It's the yellow. So if we put the red penguin there, then the yellow can come along, stop on the cane to have it. But he will also need to then help his red friend get to his exit before he can walk off and teleport. So if we get the red here, then yellow gets here to stop him like this. He can just walk into the exit and the stop is complete. This level above here, because there's a spring on it, it invalidates our cane. So we can't stop there, but we have 3 other levels we can do. So let's start with transfer. We've got the buttons here, but in addition to having gates, we also have now holes in the floor that open and close. So we need to be careful not to launch ourselves into the water this way. Now that we've got the cane, we can walk around, but a problem we face, I assume, with the cane is going into the storm, we're stuck. So instead, we need to get all of the floor holes closed, and then we can walk around. And then the hammer is gonna help us because we will drop the cane and therefore not fall into the floor and just slide across. And that's transfer. From transfer, we go to blockade. Well, now we've got 3 gray penguins with canes and 1 hammer to sort them all out. So presumably that guy goes into that slot at the end. Then this guy could push up and this guy would go in there, but that leaves our red penguin without the ability to finish in his exit. So if we instead pick a different path, leave that guy in there, get that guy to the end, and get this guy to the end. When we push this final gun in, we are in the right place to finish up where we need to be. Success! And now, Erin nudge. Definitely between the hammer and the cane, there is a bunch of nudging happening. But if the red penguin picks up the cane here, then that will cause him to get stuck because he can't get through the storm, or we will sacrifice the yellow penguin with the hammer. So potentially what we want is for him not to collect the cane. He may be able to get the hammer. Then this penguin gets the cane, but we have to push him out so that he can make the full use of it and get out into his exit. It was definitely, he just needed a little nudge. And then we stride. We've got lots of grey penguins with canes, and 4 of them need to go to an exit, which means 2 of them we can sacrifice to the waters. We also have a blue penguin with a cane that lets us move him, but he doesn't have an exit, which means he can also be sacrificed. I think what we need to do is we need to get the blue guy out to be kind of, there's ways between the red and blue to work together, because that will let us have a lot more movability in the area. So if we do it like this, push him down, but then go up. Now the blue guy can come out and just move out. So we can align that penguin there, push that guy out because we don't need him. And then, yes, we push him in here. Now the blue penguin, make sure the red penguin's not gonna fall out. He can push this guy in, then again. Oops, pushed it twice by accident. Yes, get him in there. And then we just use the blue penguin to help the red penguin stop where he needs to. And the blue penguin also makes the sacrifice. Again, I'm pretty sure penguins can swim, so it's fine. And from here we're on to barrier. Red and yellow need to exit, and green is here to help out. I assume he's gonna be helping out using the cane, but of course we need to be careful about the storms, because now that he has the cane, he is stuck here, right? He cannot get past through the storms, but he can help the other penguins slide left and right, which otherwise wouldn't be possible because they would just be falling off the edges. So we need to get the green guy out first, but also we need to align the red penguin behind the yellow exit. And from here, I think it's okay to get the green guy stuck, because then the yellow can bounce off him and off the red to get to the exit. And then the red bounces off green again and gets to his exit. And that's the barrier explained and defeated. And from here we can also still walk to the puzzles at the bottom. So we've got Paralyze. Oh, so many canes. But in this case, they are a bit of a problem for us because the amount of storms. If we pick up a cane, we won't be able to then slide through a storm. So in theory, this green penguin, he can slide out to the cane, get the next cane, but then he can't go to his exit because he will be stuck here, and there are no hammers to help us, which means we actually have to look into who's gonna be removing the canes from the board in order to let the penguins slide through when they need to. So the red penguin here is basically sacrifice because he doesn't have an exit to go to. So he can get all the canes out, though we may need some of those, because for example, once the yellow penguin gets here through the storm, he probably needs a cane to get to his exit, so we don't have to full clear out. And then we still have the walrus. The walrus, we need to get him to where the green penguin is in order to close gate B and then get out. So let's consider all those steps. So I think red gets a cane and yellow gets a cane. The walrus doesn't get a cane because he needs to go through the storm to go where he needs to go. So I think green cannot move now because wherever he goes he will pick up a cane, but he can't have one. The red can remove these canes so that the walrus can move. But I guess we have to get the red stuck in here to let the walrus turn. Because where we want to get him is the tile down here in order to be able to slide there. Oh no, we want to get him here so he can slide towards B. But we don't want to get the yellow penguin stuck. We can send him there. Then put the yellow penguin here to stop him. He can go down. But we still need to put the yellow penguin here. And then he slides across. And then he's able to close B. From there, green penguin can slide without picking up a cane. And again, the yellow can help him out so he gets into the right position. And now we can do the same as with the walrus, where he goes over there, slides back, and then the yellow penguin again helps him out. He slides to the exit. The yellow penguin can just walk, and the walrus can now walk around and exit through the gate. And we're done with Paralyze, and we go into Fretting. We've got a pretty tight level here. 2 canes, 3 penguins. So we've got to decide who is going to have a cane. I think for sure Red needs a cane because he is not able to get to the exit without having to stop by himself. But we're pretty much forced into Red takes this cane and Yellow takes this cane. After they get their canes, do we want the Yellow to go in there first? Then when they back out, they are the correct order to be able to just walk down into their slots, assuming I don't actually send him into the water. Yes, that's success. So from here, we're looking at the 2 levels with the springs, which means the green penguin actually gets to come out and start doing something. So I think we get to use our penguin with a cane to help him maneuver once again, so that he can stop, because obviously there are no walls here. So here he will get the spring, and that makes room for the blue penguin to just walk in into WN. So that's another one of those suspiciously named levels. And in here we're doing hammers and canes again. There is a second hammer that could be for this yellow penguin, but it also could be a distraction, right? Sometimes they give us extra tools that we just have to get rid of, as we've seen. And we need to get the red penguin into his exit all the way on the other side. So I assume we've got to be doing making bunch of use of the walrus with the cane in order to get the red penguin to go where he needs to go. I guess what we may need the second hammer for is the fact that the walrus will get stuck in the storm, and then when the red penguin pushes him to get him out of the storm, the red penguin will get stuck. But now we go back to this whole hammer plus hammer equals cascade, which means yes, the red penguin will get pushed onto the walrus and push the walrus instead, and then he can just go into his exit. From here we can bounce around to that other level with the spring, and we can even sacrifice the green penguin there just to remove the spring from the level so that the blue can just walk on. And we're on to Compulsion. Now we're doing hammers, canes, and teleporters. We've got 2 gray penguins that need to be pushed to their exit. The red penguin is just here to hammer them around. So what are our start options here? Because we can shove him out of his exit if we need to. And then we can shove him into the teleporter to return him there or kick him from the bottom. But we can't get under the other penguins, so it almost feels like we want to push this guy out there so that when we push this penguin, we're able to return under him to push him up. But we just want to be careful so we don't block ourselves from... Because if we push him all the way up here, right, he's there, but now we can't get around to push that second penguin back to where he needs to go. So we still need an answer for that. Once we get back here, push this guy up there. We can use this teleporter, so we have an option to push him under here, and then he's aligned with the other teleporters. So if we now push this penguin down, go into this teleporter, we're able to push this guy back to this side, teleport under him, and then push him into his exit, and that completes Compulsion. So that's everything bar the level under the unmovable penguin. So the only thing left for us to do for now is to get the green guy and the blue guy into their exit. So I think the green guy may need a spring on him because there are so many broken floors there that even with the blue guy helping, he will still need the spring to bounce around and not just end up falling into the water. So if he bounces against here, he can get onto this square and then just bounce against the blue, and the blue just walks to an exit. Because it is the walk, which we have now completed. So now that we're here, back to transition, the green penguin can go to flare. And this is where we get into bombs. And we're immediately locked into detonation. Presumably, if we have bombs on our penguins, yes, we explode. Yes, bombs detonate when hit, causing both animals to launch. Which means in this case, they can't touch each other. Yes, they can go against walls, but absolutely no touching. Well, fortunately, they can just go in a little circle and this level's complete, but I presume things are about to get much more complicated. So as soon as we move in this level selection, we end up picking up, well, 3 bombs in a row, which just results in 1 bomb on our penguin. But we go straight to triggers. So here we have just 1 penguin with a bomb, but the blue penguin is a bit more restricted because there are gates where he's just gonna fall. If we move the green penguin up, explosion. If we move the green penguin down, no explosion, because that's not someone colliding with the bomb, right? That's the bomb colliding with someone else, and apparently that's different. The penguin handling the bomb knows what he's doing, it's just everyone else that's dangerous. So he can there move out of the way here, and the green penguin is able to stop like that. But we need to... because, yes, now it's stopping our normal ways of working, right? Now we would like, oh, stop the green penguin here. No, we can't. We can stop the blue penguin here like that, and the green goes around, blue goes up to his exit, green goes to his exit. There we go. That's trigger, and onto planted, we've got a bomb and a hammer. I assume hitting a bomb with a hammer still results in an explosion. Yes. Items that activate when hit will prevent effects from other items. Yes, so I guess the difference here was because we've hit with the hammer, there was no slide of the other penguin, and they immediately both exploded. The hammer effect was cancelled. But that basically means no one can slide towards the great penguin, because I was gonna say the walrus could to get himself out of here, but no, because that great penguin needs to stay where he is to be in his exit. So this is basically blocking our movement. What we do need the hammer for is getting the walrus out of here, and actually the red penguin here, he doesn't need to finish, so he only needs to get the hammer to help out. To get him the hammer, we need to get him into the blue circle, and then he can go down. So he can now push the walrus out, and that will get him stuck, but he is not important here. What's important is everyone else. So now we're gonna be using the walrus to help the blue penguin get what he needs to get. No. I think where we need to go is get the red penguin above the walrus, blue penguin under, then yes, the red penguin will push the walrus, but because of the blue penguin, the walrus gets launched, and then the blue penguin can return, and yes, planted is complete. From here we can move to abort mission. We've got a penguin loaded with a bomb and a walrus with a spring. Now, I assume once again that spring into bomb is gonna get us into trouble. Yes, and once again, does not activate spring because they're out on their way being launched. They don't get to bounce anymore. This one's tricky to think about because what I'm thinking about when I'm working with the spring is that, well, you can use the animal to bounce off and therefore you can move one tile into the direction you want to move. But obviously this is not possible with the bomb. So it's quite easy to get the blue penguin to where he needs to go, but then the walrus can't exit. He needs to end up somehow in one of those alcoves to launch himself. I'm wondering about this, right? If I go towards the penguin now, explosion. But if I go towards the wall first, yes, we're getting into the rebound. It will not trigger items that activate with hit. The rebound doesn't count the same as direct hits. We have to get into the rebound in a place where the penguin will be aligned with where he wants to go, right? So he's aligned with his exit. And then the walrus does the rebound and then the penguin exits. We can get the penguin aligned like this. Then we can put him in the middle and then we're able to bounce off the walls to get the walrus above. So then he goes into infinite loop, and yes, then the penguin can exit himself, and we've successfully aborted mission. From here, I think we need to start getting the walruses into the level by just cleared of all the bombs in case they were going to hurt us. Well, we can get the blue walrus back up here and go into ON again for our letter collection. So let's check it out. Though I wonder if this is like supposed to be one of the levels you do last. We'll see how difficult it is. We've got just one explodey penguin and two that are chill. So we can do things here with going up and down in order to swap which penguin is where in terms of an order. Although we have to be careful about, I think, moving into this slot because once you're here, you're sort of stuck with the two open edges, or, you know, in this case, the bomb penguin is in the way. So we can get those two together, and then the red one can go into this alcove so that those two are free down here. But they still need to swap places because they're not correct. And that gets them here, but someone still has to help the red penguin get to his slot, which means someone likely needs to go into this top alcove that isn't the red penguin in order to then come down, let the red penguin hit him in order to stop here. So what we can do is get the red penguin out of there, and then this penguin at the bottom can stop the other penguin, have him get up here. So now we have someone else in that position. So when the red penguin goes there, we can bring him down and let the red penguin stop. And now we just get those guys swapped around and into their exits. That's ON complete. But there's plenty other levels left up here to do. 2 cage, so only the penguin will be able to get there. So we need to prepare a path of walruses to get into Exodus. Exodus is all walruses, 2 springs, 1 bomb, which I think math adds up in terms of 2 of them need to infinite loop themselves out of here, and then 2 of them will use the 1 bomb to get themselves out together. He can pick up a spring, get out of the way, and he can pick up a spring. And then I guess the yellow and the blue are gonna be the ones that use the bomb to get out. You also have to be careful because obviously there's storm on the edges, so the red and the green kind of get to avoid it by bouncing out of it every time, but the blue and the yellow, not so much. Because from here, the yellow can't go down and just be on the bomb. But then is around, yes, how do we get the blue there? And I also haven't actually established where the infinite loops are gonna be happening for the other walruses. If we lower him down and then he goes across, we can align that, right? So this is where the blue can be over yellow. If we go here, again, the rebound doesn't explode, so if we start with bouncing off the blue walrus, we all good, and actually we can put the red one in exactly the same place and send him out, and then the blue will just finish the job by getting our bombs on, and then we can go straight to Breakout. Here we've got a hammer and we've got a bomb, so again we're likely looking at one of them using a hammer to get a couple of the other ones out, and then at the end hammer into bomb and both of them are out. But who can pick up what, right? Red can come out and have the hammer, but then he's stuck, so that doesn't work. Yellow can come up, have the bomb and is stuck over there, which might be fine, because obviously we just need to ride into him with the hammer. So green can pick up the hammer and actually just have it. But then what happens next is we need to have the walruses perfectly aligned so that when we go through with the hammer, we will end up just going through them all. I think this is the correct positioning, but now if I do this, yeah, he will get stuck because the wall isn't there, so I have to get him into the position without breaking that wall, which I can do by doing this instead, because then, yes, he gets shoved into the wall and pushed out, he gets pushed out, and then bombs away, Breakout complete. From here, we're straight on to Breach. We've got a hammer, and we will need to use it to get the grey walrus out, because, well, he can't get himself out, and the only way we can get through there without getting stuck is bash with the hammer all the way through, because otherwise the storm will stop us. But before we do that, we will need to get the yellow walrus out, which I get the feeling is that it would be something about the walrus getting into this position there, and then we bash him with the hammer to get him out and get into position, but that would require us, once again, don't break the temporary wall before we do that. The alternative is that we use the red walrus to be there in position, right? Because, yes, he can stop against the yellow-white wall quite easily, and then we can come in with the hammer, shove him out, do that. Yes, I was just like, pick the red walrus to have the hammer and forgot that other options are possible. I think this is where we get into needing to use our walruses a bit more to let us get into those levels in the middle. And also now we have 2 levels behind walls. I'm not sure we want more animals with bombs, so we can use the penguin to be just the one with them, because then he can clear it out. So we can move him to the middle, then block with walruses, and we're on to clear. Once again, walruses only, and a bomb, and a teleport. So I assume we're gonna be doing some shenanigans. Teleport lets us remove the walruses by just having them stand on the exit, and if the second one comes in, right, that will push him out. So I think the bomb is basically, we'll need to come in there last, but we need to arrange that, right? Because once we've sent the 2 others away, we don't have enough movement here to go into a teleport anymore. And the yellow guy is also prevented from going there. We can take the yellow out of the middle section for a little bit. See if that helps. Because we basically have to queue them up the right way. So he's there like this. So now the blue can go. If the blue stands on the exit, the green can go. The red is now able to go around here. Once again, the 2 of them go out. But the yellow still has to move. Oh, if we put the yellow there now, with the green waiting, if the red is able to go in, he will just hit him and they will explode. So, okay, the bomb is not last. The bomb can be second last, and we're in the clear. From clear, 2 more. But we have to figure out how to align ourselves. Okay, like this. And we go into precision. more teleports and more bombs. Here I assume if we teleport into the storm, we continue moving because that's the rule. The storm only gets us stuck if we stop on it. And actually what we're looking into here is that only the blue penguin needs an exit, but the grey penguin with a bomb is blocking it, so the green and the red, at least one of them will be sacrificed to getting the grey penguin out. We can't exit the teleporter going down, right? Our only option is going left, which means if we don't want to fall out of the world, we are forced to have someone standing there and blocking us. If we want to stop in the exit, we will need to move someone to be closer there, because obviously we could position a penguin here and then he can come out and stop in the teleporter. But now we just need to get the blue and the green swapped around so that the green can hit the bomb penguin and get him out of the way. So we have to look more into swapping the order of our penguins around, because the red can move up and down here to block movement. We can go here, get the blue out the way, let the green be in this nuke. So now he's aligned to hit the bomb penguin, but we still need to get our red guy stuck in the storm. So to do that, we would have to be over here. But actually, we can also get the blue penguin to be the stopper. So then they will be in the correct order, right? Because if I put the green penguin there, then the blue and green are out of order. So now the green can go get the bombs out and the blue can go and stop there. So that's precision. Now we need to go do the same on the other side so that we can get into strike. Are we penguin bowling? I think we are. Yes, we push them, they explode. So we just have to push them down those lanes, but we can't get to Snoop Penguin through just by pushing them here. Of course, he will get launched, but that means we will have a walrus that doesn't get anyone to free him. So I assume there will be teleporter shenanigans, because there are two teleporters that go into each other. So yeah, we'll get things like he goes onto the other side. But again, we don't want any incidents where they get stuck against each other. So we may still need to clear this guy out and then just work with those two. Because we can... no, we can't move like that, because obviously if he goes onto the exit, then that's a problem. But we can align him in that lane. Now push this guy out. And then we can go through this way. Yes, moving him down a square every time when he teleports. And push him on for strike. And that's everything here that's achievable without some extra knowledge how to get onto those levels that are behind walls. So for now, I think the only thing is to get our walruses sent away and our penguin has exit. But I think this is where we want bombs, not just for the penguin, but bombs for the walruses as well. So we need to leave one bomb for the walruses. But we probably don't want to pick it up right away, because then movement will be more complicated if we have to watch out for one of the walruses also being explosive. So this way we can align the penguin to where he needs to be. This walrus can pick a bomb and both of them, they go out. But the way they go over that wall when the explosion happens, it leads me to believe that if I was able to get this blue walrus in there while he has the bomb on his head and then send someone else to meet him and explode, then they would maybe jump over and reach those levels, but that's obviously complicated if I have 2 of them with bombs and I have to backtrack. So actually, even if I can believe that detonation in that square up there could get us into those secret levels, I don't think we can do this with the animals we have, because if we try to send the green walrus back, he will just fall through the gate on the right. If we send the penguin back, he will just fall through the gate on the top. So as much as blue walrus could be here with a bomb, no other of those 2 animals can actually reach him. So again, inklings of ideas, but I'm missing something, and presumably I'm missing it in the sense of I haven't yet gotten that far into the game to truly understand what it is that I'm missing. So I think, once again, for now, I just have to finish this level, get my penguin where it needs to be, and explore the 2 walruses, and be done with it. Successful in Flare. From here, there is another level in this section, but I'm gonna presume that's another level selection we need to get to. And we have liftoff, which, yes, is going to be where we learn about the rockets. But I think we're gonna leave it for next time. So let me know what you thought about our exploding penguins. And if you enjoy my content, consider liking or subscribing. Thank you to channel members for supporting the channel, and I will see you soon on another adventure.